Good afternoon, everybody. I think this is not a good time to do any presentation. You all are in Hungary. So I try to do my presentation on time. I think according to the timeline, I also have 24 minutes. I'm planning to do my presentation within 24 minutes time. Actually, I must thank Professor Khanas, Michael Khanas, to invite me to do this presentation today. And also, I must thank to Ranahansa Dissanyanke, Sri Lankan student who is studying here. He is doing his postgraduate studies here to encourage me to attend this international conference today. So, for this particular conference, my Minister of Power and Energy, Honorable Partli Champika Ranawaka, planning to attend, but unfortunately he had another invitation from South Africa for COP17 meeting, so he gave the priority for attend that particular meeting, and then after he asked me to do the presentation on behalf of him here today. Before I do my presentation, actually, this particular topic has given by Professor Michael. I prepared only the solar and wind potential of Sri Lanka, but my institution is involved in not only the renewable energy development, but also the energy efficiency. So I am not going to talk about the energy efficiency part today. So this is my content of my presentation. Initially, I will do the institutional framework. I will give the brief introduction of institutional framework and the Sri Lankan power sector overview and renewable energy policy of Sri Lanka and the major issues and barriers on renewable energy development in Sri Lanka. These are the four topics I am planning to do here today. Actually, my institute, the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority, was established on 1st October 2007, enacting the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority Act number 33 of 2007. This is a very small institute, very young, only 3 years past, so we just started to work. My institute has two major areas. One is renewable energy development, other part is energy efficiency promotion. So these are the powers, duties and function of Renewable Energy Authority of Sri Lanka. First thing is, assist the minister in formulating national energy policy. Fortunately, we have a very good minister who is having the background of electrical engineering, and also he is an environmentalist. Therefore, this is the good time for us to develop renewable energy in Sri Lanka. The other one is the identify, conserve, inventorize, and manage all renewable energy resources and technologies. Under that, we assess resource potential and prepare resource map. We declare energy development areas, and also we render professional services in project formulation activities. And the next function is develop a long-term renewable energy plan. Under that, we identify interim target for each resources, and also we prepare development guidelines for each renewable energy resources. The next duty is mobilizing financing. Under that, grants for pilot projects and credit enhancement and concessionary funds are formulated, and we are providing technical services to DNA on CDM projects. And further to that, the powerful project approving committee was formulated to expedite the renewable energy resource development. Under that, that particular committee formulating guidelines and regulations, entertaining applications and allocating resources for each and every applications, and pre and post project monitoring also done by this particular committee. This is the most powerful committee appointed by Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority. The main reason for appointing this committee is this is a one-stop shop for all approvals. Every developer can get all approvals in a single place. And the other activities are the resource maps, inventory, energy development areas, and transparent approval process also formulated to reduce the gestation period and also claim to a resource by developers in public domain, and also the land acquisition where necessary and long leases are necessary. Then this the authority is involved in land acquisition process. So this will be a robust appeal, and also we introduce a robust appeal process if somebody is not qualified for doing renewable energy development project, he can appeal, and the appeal also considered by this committee and also by the management of the Sustainable Energy Authority of Sri Lanka. Our vision is the Sri Lanka has become a forerunner in the renewable energy sector. The country to tap maximum possible potential of renewable, gaining from gain capacity and complete resource inventory and information and data vending center. We already formulated the data vending center. If somebody is involved in, interested in developing any kind of renewable energy resources, so we have enough information and data so they can borrow from our center. And also, we are formulating a network of agencies of research and development and rural energy services. And further to that, new renewables and new uses for renewables such as biofuels and hydrogen milling also done. And further, catalyst the growth of renewable related industry. We are doing the consulting for professional services as an export industry. Sometime we will get the invitation from some other countries as well to do, especially from African region, we got some invitation to develop their renewable energy resources to give the technical assistance from our side as well. This is the power sector overview of Sri Lanka. Our population is about 20.65 million. Out of that, the electrification rate is 89%. The population connected to the main the population connected to the main grid is 87%. The balance 2% is off grid. The energy stakeholders are the Ceylon Electricity Board is the government entity. The stakeholders are private power producers. The installed capacity of power sector in Sri Lanka is about 2,891 megawatt. Out of 2,891, hydro 1,279 megawatt, thermal 1,379 megawatt, non-conventional renewable resources 233 megawatt. The generation from hydro is almost 40%, thermal is 60%. The electrification level I already discussed. The end of 2010, the electrification level was 89%. Out of that, grid connected 87%, and off-grid is 2%. You may well aware about the energy crisis. So these are the issues. You know that man has discovered fossil fuel about 150 years ago. More than half of the reserve have been already used. So we are facing a severe energy crisis in the future. So these are the solutions from our side, developed by Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority, the energy conservation and improving energy efficiency. So we introduce advanced technologies to energy conservation, and also we develop renewable energy cleanup fuels, and also the practicing energy modesty. So we change our lifestyle to save the energy. Sometimes you know that Sri Lanka is very close to the equator, so we have the sunlight, as well as we have enough wind resources. So when we are building when we are constructing a building, we introduce a guideline to use more solar energy as well as natural wind potential. So therefore, we can change the lifestyle of people. Doing that, we can save the energy and we can face the future energy crisis. The role of the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority is to drive the nation to shift from oil economy to the green economy. This is our motto. In this particular slide, you can see that primary energy supply of Sri Lanka is petroleum 43%, hydro 10%, non-conventional 0.1%, and biomass 47%. Biomass is the highest. This is the share of electrical consumption. The commercial sector consumes about 23% of electricity. Industrial sector consumes 36% of electricity. For street lighting, consume about 2%. The domestic sector consumes 39%, and the religious sector consumes 0.1%. This is the electricity generation by source. Hydro and non-conventional resources produce about 42%, as I explained earlier. The thermal, 58%. This is the energy balance in a typical building. As I explained earlier, Sri Lanka is located very close to the equator. Therefore, the normal temperature is within the range of 28 to 32. So most of the buildings are air conditioned. Therefore, 77.54% of the electricity is consumed for air conditioning. And the lighting purposes about 15.97%, water pumping 0.32%, lift 2.17%, office equipment and other appliances about 4%. This is the energy balance in a typical building in Sri Lanka. So this is the power generation. In 2010, the total power generation was 10,714 gigawatt hours. The power generation mix, if you see the gross power generation here, the hydro is 4,187 gigawatt hour. Thermal is 5,975 gigawatt hour. The small hydro is 549 gigawatt hours, and the wind is only 3 gigawatt hour. This is the energy demand by sector. You can see the domestic sector is 40.18% domestic sector, and the commercial sector is 24.6%, and so on. You can see the each and every sector's energy demand. This is the Sri Lankan energy renewable energy policy. Renewable energy policy highlights, I can say, the government has set clear policy target to develop non-conventional renewable energy resources. The government envision increase the share of the non-conventional renewable energy resources by 10% in grid electricity by 2016, and further increase the target to 20% by 2020 under Mahinda Chintana Idiri Dakma program. This is the electricity cost, subsidies and incentives given by the government. The fossil fuel subsidies are furnace oil for power generation is given to Ceylon Electricity Board. This is a government entity with a subsidy of about $18 per liter, and the fossil fuel subsidy then becomes cent for US dollar cent for kilowatt hour. In renewable energy subsidies are cost reflective tariff we introduced, which is higher than the average selling price of electricity by Ceylon Electricity Board. The average selling price is about $0.119 US dollars per kilowatt hour. The additional cost of renewable energy is passed to the customer. That is the policy of the country. This is the electricity cost subsidies and incentives given for renewable energy sector. For wind, the base rate is this is in US dollars 17.7 cents, solar 18.8 cents, biomass 18.8 cents, municipal waste is 20 cents, mini hydro is 11.9 cents, waste is 0.6 cents, and other 18.8. These are the tariff introduced by Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority for renewable energy development. The policy initiatives done by my institute is developer can select either a 3-tier tariff or a flat tariff for 20 years. He has to sign an agreement with the Ceylon Electricity Board for 20 years, power purchasing agreement. In that particular agreement, either he can select cost-reflective technology-specific feed-in tariff. There are two options. One is 3-tier, 1 to 8 years. Within 8 years, he can recover the capital. The balance period, he can get the profit. If you go into this flat tariff, entire period you will get the flat tariff. I will go into the details in next slide. You can see the tariff variations. And also we promoting the net metering facility. Some people are very much interested to introduce solar energy to their houses. So in the daytime, they can tap the electricity to the main grid, and the night time they can borrow from the main grid. He has to pay the balance to the government. This is the tariff. This is the 3-tier tariff introduced by ourselves. You can see this mini hydro. The base operation and maintenance rate, base fuel rate is not considered. Year 1 to 8, we are given, this is in Sri Lankan rupee, 12.64, 9 to 5, 5.16, and so on. If it is more than 16 years, government is planning to get 10% royalty from each developer. These are the tariff introduced by each and every renewable energy sectors. This is the flat tariff introduced by for other sectors: mini hydro local, wind local, and biomass, and so on. You can see the our tariff given in Sri Lankan rupees. These are the non-conventional renewable energy targets given by the government. In 2005, electrification coverage is 75%, 2010 is 88%, 2012 we hope to electrify 100%. But the base demand is increasing from 1,768 to 2,921 in 2012. In 2016, some other industries also, there are opportunities for other industries. Then the electricity demand is increasing. It increased to, we hope, 3,943. Likewise, there are targets for non-conventional renewable energy resource development. In 2016, these are the targets for us: biomass this much, hydro this much, and wind 230, solar 100, total 802. But that is exceeding the target. Our target is 10%. If it is 10%, it should be 347. But we plan to achieve 802 megawatt. Then we achieve the target double target. These are the non-conventional renewable energy status. Within 3 years' time, we produce 233 megawatt. This is the 7% of grid electricity generation. You can see the biomass, hydro, wind, solar, and other renewable energy resources capacities. These are the commission projects. Already we commissioned 233 projects, megawatt projects, and under construction 370. Provisional approval 198 was given. So we believe that we can achieve to our target in 2015, 16, as well as in 2020 without any problem. These are the available renewable energy resources in Sri Lanka. Mainly the biomass is used for thermal power generation, and also electricity generation also use. Hydro and solar also available. These are already being harnessed, but sea wave, geothermal, ocean thermal is yet to be harnessed. This is the wind resource potential map of Sri Lanka. If you see this particular map, we can generate the installed capacity of 24,250 megawatt. So we can export our electricity to neighboring countries if we can harness this particular wind potential. This is the country wind potential measurements we are doing. There are wind masses fixed in several areas, so we are regularly monitoring the wind directions and wind potential and wind capacity. These are the process of installing the wind farm. We have 2 solar pilot projects already commissioned. So actually these 2, we are earning the money from installing these 2 projects. So we are fortunate to earn the money for, we are not dependent on the government salaries, government money. Therefore, we can, enough money we can get from these 2 projects to give the salaries for our 83 people. So these 2 projects are funded by Japanese and Korean governments. So we are planning to make a large-scale development through 100 megawatt park. Many competition trying different options. Few large plants being promoted. These are the constraints in solar. Prices have not come down as promised. No local industry to benefit from large-scale manufacturing. And solar thermal technology may require many decades to reach Sri Lanka. So you can see these are the construction process of 2 solar power projects in Hambantota. Now already 2 projects are commissioned. This is the solar potential map of Sri Lanka. So we have a good solar potential throughout the year. So we have 2 ongoing project activities, 100 megawatt wind power park at Mena. Other one is 100 megawatt solar power park at Hambantota. So we opened these 2 energy parks for private sector as well as public sector can involve. So in these days we are receiving many proposals for these 2 energy parks. These are the major issues and barriers. The capacity and grid limitation is one of the main barriers for further development of wind power. You know that wind is a fluctuating energy, therefore there are problems in capacity in grid limitations. The Sri Lanka's load profile features a deep off-peak valley and a very sharp evening peak. The operation of wind plant in high wind season coinciding with the high hydro season, the rainy season, during off-peak hours has severely restricted future development. At present, power purchase agreement featured the forced shutdown period during off-peak period. This is one issue. The finding suitable development land is becoming very difficult because our country is a small country. The lack of transmission capacity in windy location also constrained wind development. The grid expansion is limited to some areas. Therefore, highly wind potential areas will not get the grid connection. Therefore, we cannot develop entire wind potential. Central Highland are inaccessible for wind development. Central Highland also we cannot transport wind plants and other equipment to these particular areas because of lack of proper infrastructure. This is the system limitation daily load profile of Sri Lanka. You can see that there are 2 valleys, up to 5:30 morning, and also you can see the very peak valley in 6:30 to 9:30. If we think about the solar energy is available only during daytime, storage solution for this is too expensive, therefore solar also we cannot promote. Even though we have enough solar resources, we can promote only 100 megawatt capacity. Exceeding transmission capacities due to the high variability of non-storage technologies, and also solar is having grid substation capacities limitation to 30 megawatt. even though we want to promote 100 megawatt, Ceylon Electricity Board only allow us to develop 30 megawatt. This is the other constraint. The lack of long-term accurate solar database also not available. So long-term measuring program not in place. Only one station measuring direct and diffuse radiation measurements are taken from Hambantota, our own solar energy park. These are the things I just want to explain to you. These are the further development of wind and solar power. The very attractive tariff of around $20 cents per kilowatt hour is on offer. Sri Lanka has become a crowded marketplace for wind and solar energy development. Further, future projects will be on a large scale, targeting public-private partnership as the basis for investment. So, I just want to expose the overview of Sri Lanka about the renewable energy sector as well as the energy conservation sector. Here, I never explained about the energy conservation sector. I just want to explain about the renewable energy development areas. So any person who is interested about develop any renewable energy projects in Sri Lanka, all are welcome. Thank you.